Well, first of all, thank you so much, Vítor, for the invitation to participate in this roundtable, the extremely stimulating discussion. Second, my huge apologies for the time confusion, for the delay in entering the room. Third, I would like to pay a tribute to Jeremy's memory, because he was not only a great scholar, but a great person as well. I met him. I had the opportunity to meet him twice, one in Lisbon and one in Istanbul. And immediately my impression was not only of a great scholar, but of a great person as well. Having said that, let me just share some ideas about this design. Vítor told you that we are talking about design that of a house that we are also the client and also the researcher, the academic, and this is an atrium house I have designed in which we live for 20 years now in Brasilia. Now, to give you a very simple preliminary idea of the site, this is the pilot plan of Brasilia. The house is in the suburbs. Just consider that we have a basin, a lake basin, the Lake Paranoá, and which is completely surrounded by hills 300 meters above the lake level, which is in turn 1,000 meters above sea level. Okay, so you see the hills from every point in the pilot plan, as here, or here, or here. And in turn, from the hills, you have beautiful views of the pilot plan, as in here. This is a view from very nearby my house. Okay, and the borough in which I live is 23 kilometers from Brasilia center, which is here, and 300 meters above the lake level. Okay, this is the blocks, and this is the house in its plots. Now, sources of inspiration for the design, atriums. I have been very much well impressed with the atrium houses I knew in Teotihuacan, in Pre-Columbia, America, which is in Mexico. It's an archaeological site in Mexico City, and which in turn brought back memories from, this is Teotihuacan, Mexico again, but it brought memories back from Andalusia, as in Granada, and again, memories from Pompeii, which I visited in the 1970s. Now, this is my solution. This is our atrium, completely surrounded by spaces which are intensely used in the house. Now, other sources of inspiration, volumetric decomposition. I bring from the late Corbusier this complexity in volume decomposition, as he does in Ronchamp, but not only in Ronchamp, also in Chandigarh, in the Le Corbusier Pavilion in Zurich, etc. Now, these are the volumes, and this is the decomposition, okay, I employ. 3 trapezoidal volumes around an atrium. Now, the trapezoidal volumes in turn come from Brazilian modern architecture. They're very common in this architecture in Brazil, as in Brady, for example, or in Oscar Niemeyer. And we do not have an atrium in modern architecture in Brazil. We have a patio, which is completely different configurationally. Now I'm using a term which very much comes from space syntax, as you know. These are examples of house with patios, not with atriums, as this magnificent house designed by Levy, or another one by him as well. And you see the difference right in here. Other source of inspiration is the Recife School, which is a trend, a school of architecture in my hometown, which had its mentor in Delfim Fernandes Amorim, who was my teacher in the undergraduate level, a fantastic pedagogue. He made a truly revolution in teaching of architecture in Recife, at the school in which I studied, and a great architect as well. And I bring from him, this idea of very gently slabs, a very gentle slope, 5% to 10%, which I employ in my own house, as you see here. Now, these images, before and after, are separated by 20 years, okay? This is 20 years ago, this is today. 20 years ago, in which the trapezoidal volumes are very clear, legible. Now, 20 years ago, now. Okay, so you have an idea how the vegetation is architecturally treated to compose a completely different now scenario. Now, from neoplasticism, you see the many sources of inspiration of the design, right? From neoplasticism come the colors, the primary colors. Red, blue, and yellow, and the primary values, black, white, and gray. As in here, as in here, as in here, as in here. Now, plot and plan. This is the plot. The house occupies the southern part of the plan, and it gives back to the public space these spaces in blue. Okay. Now, this does not work only to emphasize the volumes, but socially as well, because it brings literally the street into the core of the house. As in here, as you see, this is the entrance, okay? This is the atrium. And these are the convex spaces, which is a sort of analytical technique to decompose something which is obviously continuous, the spaces, into units, into convex units, to analyze the structure of permeability among them. Okay? Now, these are the types of space. I don't have much time to deal with this, but we have 4 types of space. One which is a dead end, B is a passage to a dead end, C belongs to a ring of permeability, and D belongs to at least 2 rings of permeability. Okay? Now, this is called a justified graph. Here you have the street, and as you move upwards in this scheme, you have the deeper and deeper spaces from the street. Now compare our house, the Atrium House, with this, which is typically modern from a research carried out by one of my doctoral students. You see how different it is, the treatment of the private sector. Okay, the rooms constitute a branch, one and only branch, which is connected to the rest of the house by 3 circulation spaces. Okay, and in our house you have a proliferation of rings which connects in various ways, making room for various routes among spaces. Now, ringiness is exactly this. I mean, how much is the scheme constituted by spaces which are spatial rings? Okay, my house is 74% constituted by spaces of that type. Now compare this with a survey that Julian Hansen made of houses designed by star architects. Okay, if you have this, which is C plus D, in my house is 74. In these houses by star architects, and the architects were Mario Botta, Heesduk, Adolf Loos, and Hicham Meyer. I've got the average of these schemes. They go to 54%. So you have a quite different genotypical, I would say, difference from my house. Now, the other thing is degree of closure. Can I shut up myself from the rest of the place or not? Okay, I cannot do this in my living room. I can do this in the bedroom. So, altogether, the blue are the open spaces, the red, the closed ones. Now, I compare this with various samples. This is our house, and this is the comparison of the degree of closure between middle-class houses in Brasilia, studied by France, houses designed by architects in Recife, Brazil, houses designed by architects studied by Julian Hanson in London, and houses sold by the market, a study by Hanson as well. See the difference, okay? Now, time and movement. Let me just show you how the play of volumes deal with hiding and revealing spaces along the route from the sidewalk opposite the entrance of the house till the core of the house. I'm going to use isovists, which is a concept which comes from Michael Benedict, but has been used, incorporated into space syntax. The isovist is the unimpeded space in the plane of your eye, okay, all around. This is the isovist from the sidewalk, just in front of the door, okay? Now, mid-ramp, this is what we have. See how the isovist is much smaller. Now, the portico. This is the isovist. Again, this play of hiding and revealing spaces goes all along this route. The vestibule, this is the isovist, and the corridor, and this is my favorite one, which is a spatial explosion when we reach the core, because we reach a huge permeability north-south, which crosses completely the scheme of the house. And the atrium, finally, this is it. Okay. Now, sources again. From Barragan, it comes light and textures, such as this one, a fantastic, great source of inspiration. And this is our house. So, just to give you some samples. Of course, there is an explicit tribute to Le Corbusier and Ringiness in this small window, which draws in the summer solstice the square in the opposite wall. And this is the summer solstice early morning. This is the entrance, the fountain. Again, the design playing with light all along. Again, winter solstice, now, some days ago, in our bedroom. Summer solstice. See how different it is, the light in the house. I'm going too slow, but synchronizing means how much does one space order other spaces around and people. We have two types of synchronization. A convex one, which is the atrium. An axial one, which is the huge transparent, this axis, which cuts across the house from north to south. Okay, and here you have both. The axis, which is this one here, and the atrium. And finally, for you to have a brief idea of the space of the atrium, in a very short clip. I hope we have enough speed so that you can see this. These are ceramic tiles, which are again a strong tradition in Recife architecture, and which brings us back to Pompeii, the frescoes of the houses of Pompeii. Okay, this is the equivalent. You have the impluvium in the fountain, you have the compluvium in the opening towards the sky, and you have this pergola defining the space. Right, thank you so much, and again, deepest apologies for the delay. Thank you so much.